The state's ban on same-sex marriage is headed for a federal court of appeals tomorrow. Judges from the 7th Circuit will review Indiana's ban and rule whether it's constitutional. State House reporter Katie Hines has details on the hearing scheduled for Tuesday in Chicago.
It is time for those walls of injustice to come down.
About 100 members of Hoosiers Unite for Marriage rallied downtown ahead of Tuesday's hearing to support the same-sex couples challenging the state's ban on gay marriage. Tara and Melody Betterman Lane are two of the plaintiffs. The pair got married in New York 2 years ago.
At the time, I didn't think it was a big deal, but when we drove home after we were married and we crossed over into each state and thought, are we married here? That's when, for me personally, it really hit home. Now
they're on their way to Chicago, where their lawyers will argue to overturn the state's ban. The Federal Court of Appeals is scheduled to hear arguments from both sides. Gay rights supporters are optimistic about their chances in federal court, but they realize tomorrow's hearing is just one more step in what is likely going to be a long fight. The state is appealing a ruling that struck down Indiana's ban on same-sex marriage. In its final brief, lawyers from the Attorney General's office write that traditional marriage is in the best interest of the state. And Indiana isn't the only state at the center of this debate. A panel of 3 federal judges will also hear arguments from the state of Wisconsin on Tuesday. But don't expect a ruling quite yet.
Sometimes it takes months. In a case like this, they accelerated the schedule. Normally this would not we wouldn't have had this hearing until sometime next month.
That's because it's widely believed the U.S. Supreme Court will need to step in on the issue of same-sex marriage, and soon. 2 other circuit courts of appeals in the U.S. have ruled in favor of gay marriage. IU law professor David Orntlicher says the nation's high court will watch how the federal judges rule here.
Just as the public is sending its signals, the 4th Circuit, the 10th Circuit, as other judges send their signals to the court, the signal from the 7th Court will be important to the Supreme Court as it decides.
Katie Hines, RTV6.
And although they won't have a chance to speak in court, more than 30 other people have filed their opinions on the subject with the judges through Friends of the Court briefs. The group includes major businesses, nonprofit organizations, and residents of Indiana. Court is set to begin tomorrow at 10:30 Indianapolis time in Chicago. 80 minutes will be set aside to hear arguments, 40 minutes devoted to Indiana and 40 minutes to Wisconsin. Each side from each state gets 20 minutes to make their case. RTV6 reporter Katie Hines will be there and bring you reports beginning on the news at 5.